and France scaled up their relations to special global strategic partnership. The two countries have signed over 20 MOUs, a story which was earlier reported by ET Now. The two leaders, following their talks in Mumbai, also virtually inaugurated an assembly line in Karnataka's Wemgal to build Airbus H-125 helicopters, and that is expected to enhance India's aerospace manufacturing capabilities. French President Emmanuel Macron invited PM Modi for G7 summit. Let's listen into what Prime Minister Narendra Modi said, highlighting the ties between the two countries.
भारत और फ्रांस के संबंध बहुत ही विशेष है। फ्रांस भारत के सबसे पुराने स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनर्स में से एक है और प्रेसिडेंट मैक्रो के साथ मिलकर हमने इस स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप को अभूतपूर्व गहराई और ऊर्जा दी है। इस विश्वास और साझा विजन के आधार पर आज हम अपने संबंधों को स्पेशल ग्लोबल स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप के रूप में स्थापित कर रहे हैं।
Absolutely. Now, in an exclusive conversation with my colleague Sumita, she speaks with David Zapolsky, Chief Global Affairs and Legal Officer at Amazon, on India's growing opportunities in AI and data centers. Now, Amazon's strategy in the space and how an India-US trade deal could boost Amazon. Let's listen in to a slice of the conversation.
Well, so all of us are using from our appliances to our phones, we all rely on this infrastructure to power the way we're living our lives. And so I think to achieve that, you need this type of investment. The investments that we're making will give us the building block, just like the cloud did. We'll create the AI building block for everybody to continue having easy access to this technology, and for our customers to be able to develop new uses that can improve the lives of workers, of citizens, and that governments can use to become more efficient and to do things in an even better way.
Right. Let me also ask you.
I realized I didn't quite. I meant to circle back to your question on the tax incentives. The types of investments that are required in energy, in data centers, in chips and servers, in the security infrastructure, they're generational. They're not short-term, right, even though the market sometimes treat it as if it were short-term. And so it's really important when you're deciding where to put this type of investment to have confidence in the future, to have certainty in the regulatory environment. And the tax holiday is one example that gives us certainty that in making an investment decision of this magnitude. And so we know, through 2047 that we'll have some regulatory certainty that we can rely on and continue investing in.
Right. David, let me also ask you, since we're living in very, very volatile times, you have AI on one hand, but you also have geoeconomic disruptions, with many stating that globalization is going to be over. Some other people, they sort of disagree with that. But when we talk about geoeconomic disruptions, we did see some sort of tensions between the United States and India. However, we've come out with a trade deal that has been signed, that has been agreed upon. A joint statement was issued, and both sides are looking at signing that in March. How are you navigating these turbulences, especially when it comes to geoeconomic turbulences, from the point of view of a brand that's operating both in the United States and India?
Well, one of the things you have to remember when you think about Amazon is that we can't run a business like the ones we run from a cubicle in Silicon Valley or from an office in New York. We really need investments. We need people. We support over 2.8 million workers in this country. We need investments in people on the ground. Our Indian business is fundamentally Indian. And so we don't even have the option of walking away and just being the American, or vice versa. And so when we look at these issues, we look much more long-term. India has been a critical partner in geopolitical politics for decades. And I have every reason to think they'll continue to be. And I'm optimistic about that. And so, are there going to be bumps in the road, at points in history? Of course. But in the long term, we wouldn't be making these types of investments and creating the presence that we have in India unless we had optimism about the future and that the United States and India will continue to be fast friends and technological partners for decades to come.
All right, so there are visuals which are coming in with the visit of French President Emmanuel Macron as well as Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. There was an announcement of innovation which was getting launched from Gateway of India, making Gateway of World. That was the words which were there from Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And 2026 whole will be celebrated by Indian side as well as French side as an year of innovation. Remember, there has been over 20 MOUs which has been signed by both the sides. The areas include defense, the areas include technology, and more importantly, when the meeting happened, both the leaders did say that culturally they both go along, and therefore there should be more cultural ties between the two countries, and hence you can see the live visuals are coming in whereby you can see Prime Minister Narendra Modi as well as French President standing together at Gateway of India, launching the innovation which was announced earlier, and the whole year 2026 will be celebrated as innovation by both the countries.
A huge round of applause for our leaders opening this special night with a unique gesture of friendship. And now, celebrating the India-France Year of Innovation, ladies and gentlemen, here comes this show your way.
So Shivani, the visual show is underway at Gateway of India. You can see beautiful visuals of cultural heritage being presented at Gateway of India, and both heads of states sitting and watching the show. It is not only a testimony of two nations going together, but also exchange of cultural diversity. Why I am using the word diversity? Because even during the speech which was given by French president, he clearly mentioned that one should celebrate, even in the use of AI, various cultures, various languages.
Absolutely. Ankur, culture is something that keeps you rooted, and both France and India have such a rich cultural heritage, from many thousands of years, is what both of these countries cherish and celebrate, and especially given the fact that the kind of cultural diversity that India has, and all of these colors right here in front of our screen, the visuals that we are seeing are coming in from Gateway of India, where French President Emmanuel Macron is meeting with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This is also India and France's year of innovation. 2026 is what is being declared as India and France's year of innovation. Now today, during their meet at the governor's residence, in fact in Mumbai, Emmanuel Macron and Prime Minister Narendra Modi signed 20 new MOUs for trade, for partnership between the two nations. And here we are seeing two of these leaders of two different nation states sitting and enjoying a visual display at the Gateway of India, right there in front of our screens right now. Beautiful colors, what we can see, and the heads of state watching the beautiful colors and visual display right there demonstrated on Gateway of India. Well, on that note, it is time for us to slip into a very short break on India Tonight. You don't go anywhere. We will be right back.